say hello. With our friends at Storytime, we wave and say hello. Awesome! Okay, so we're reading a really old book today, but an oldie but a goodie. This is Cats for Sale, a tale of a peddler, some monkeys, and their monkey business. Yeah. And the other illustrator is Esther Slavina. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like any ordinary peddler, carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First, he had his own checked cap. Then, a bunch of gray caps. Then, a bunch of brown caps. Oh no, he dropped his caps. Then a bunch of blue caps. And on the very top, a bunch of red caps.
Ooh.
My favorite artist. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight so as not to upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up and down the street, calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But nobody wanted to buy any caps that morning. Nobody wanted to even buy a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," he said. And he walked out of town slowly, slowly, so as not to disturb his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big
A tree.
This is a nice place for a resting dog.
Mm-hmm.
He sat down very slowly under the tree, leaned back little by little against the tree trunk, so as not to disturb his caps from his head. Then he put up his hand to feel if they were straight. First was his own checked cap, then the
Gray cap.
yes, then the
Brown cap.
and then the
Red cap.
and then on the very top were
Red
the
caps.
red. They were all there. So he went to sleep. It's okay to make a mistake. I can candy behind the camera. So he slept for a very long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. Before standing, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were all in the right place. But all he felt was his own checked cap. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left, no caps. He looked to the back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. And then he looked up in the tree, and what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey. Let's count the monkeys. We have one,
1, 2,
oh, monkey down. 3, oh, rather. 4,
4,
5,
5, 6, 7,
8,
9, 10.
11, 12 monkeys.
That's a lot of
A
monkeys.
lot of monkeys. So on every branch sat a monkey. And on every monkey there was a gray,
Hat.
or a brown, or a blue, or a red
Ooh.
cap. The reds are still okay. So the peddler looked at the monkeys, and the monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking his finger, "you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their finger at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." They only stamped their foot and they said, By this time the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both of his feet and he shouted, "You monkeys, you give me back my calves." But the monkeys only stamped both of their feet and said, At last he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap and he threw it on the ground and began to walk away. But then each monkey pulled off his cap. And then all the gray caps, and all the brown caps, and all the blue caps, and all of the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So, the peddler picked up his caps, and he put them back on his head. Let's see if we can remember the order. First there was, let's move them up a little. Checkered cap. Then there were the
Gray.
caps.
3 gray.
And then the
Brown.
caps.
3 brown caps.
The
Blue.
caps, yes. And on the very tip top were the
Red. My
red
favorite.
caps. Yes. 3 red caps on the top. And slowly, he walked back to town calling, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap. And that's the end. That's caps for sale. All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming to our very first flannel board story time. It was fun. It was.
It was awesome.
If you have not signed up yet for summer reading, go to our website, rpl.org, or our Facebook page. You're there right now, and you can find all the information you need to do summer reading from home. All right, you guys ready to do our closing song? Let's get our 5 little fish ready.